Welcome to Tackle Fanatics TV, and in this episode of Tackle Fanatics TV, you get a chance to check out Korda's new Line Saver beads.
What you see before you may appear to just be another naked chod setup, but it's not. We've made yet another improvement to one of the most popular rigs that's being used at the moment. The top end still contains the components that come in the naked chod kit, and the middle part is just one of my own tied, very short chod rigs. However, this end, hiding behind my thumb and forefinger, is the new development, and it is the Line Saver bead. Now, for those of you that have used the naked chod system, it looks very similar because it's got the barrel that's exactly the same that you get in the kit. However, it's now got attached to it, fused together, like a very small, almost like a small tail rubber if you like. Once again, it's all made of tungsten, so it's keeping everything pinned to the bottom, but it's got a far more important feature than that. You know what it's like, you've all caught a few fish using this type of setup, and during the fight, once you've landed the fish, you've often got that little coily bit of line just above your bead, and that's where the fish has been pulling the swivel against the line, and it's just created that little bit of abrasion on it, and basically you've got to cut it off and start again before you cast back out. That's what this is here to solve. As the rig moves its way down during the fight, the swivel is now pulling on that tungsten bead, and there's no way that the line can suffer any damage because of it. And I'm talking from experience. I've actually been testing this product for probably the best part of 6 months now, and really have had some fantastic results. I use it mostly in the colder months when I was chod fishing, but right up until now, the chod would often find itself on one rod for me, and this is always now part of that setup. And talking of one rod, that's all I've got in the water at the moment. I'm currently sat by a lovely little lake in Mersey, and I really want to show you exactly how it works live with a fish attached to the end. But to do that, I might need to get my second rod cast out, so that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Right, the rods have been out for a couple of hours, and unfortunately we've had no joys yet, and I've got to make my way back into the office. As much as I'd love to sit here all day and try and catch one, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Just to give the rods a few more minutes, I'm just going to talk you through the tying of everything and the setup of the system, just so you know exactly what you're doing when you've got your bits from your local tackle shop. So, first things first, I've got my chod rig already tied on, I slide that down onto the main line. That is then followed by the top half of the naked chod system. Now, I'm using the 20-pound touchdown. The lakes I'm fishing normally, I'm not casting very far, they're quite weedy, so I want to make sure that if I hook a fish, everything is perfectly strong enough to deal with any situation that pops up. Now, it's important to point out that all of the lines that we offer can be used with it. I've used the subline down in 10-pound and still offered the naked chod system on it, and the 20-pound it's still fine. But just to point out, and it might sound obvious, but the thicker the line, the tighter things are when you're pushing them down. As always with anything, be it tying a knot or pushing things on your line, just make sure you wet it either with saliva or just give it a little dunk in the lake first. Once that's down in position, that is then followed by the new Line Saver bead. Move it up out the way to give you plenty of room to work with. So slide it up, just so that when you come to tying your knot, you've got plenty of room to do so. The next thing you slide on, I use this just to buffer my knot that's attached to the quick link. So it's just a silicone sleeve. Slide that up, again, get it out the way, and then tie it to an extra small quick link. Now, the reason I use a quick link at the bottom is because sometimes, like today when I first got it, was very windy, and I was just about sort of hitting the cast I needed with an 1.5 ounce lead. Now, maybe I'd have been better suited to a 2 ounce. If I needed to, I could have just clipped it off and put a slightly heavier lead on. It just gives you a bit more versatility. Once you've got your quick link on, get the lead of choice and cut the swivel off. You don't need it in this situation. It's not going to be used on a leg clip, and it'll make the bottom bit of the rig too long. It's just unnecessary. So snip it off with your crimp tool, so you've just got the brass loop, then you clipped on. Now, you then sort of work your way back. You work from your top end, you've got all your components on your line, now it's just a case of setting it up. So once the lead's on, your silicone sleeve slides down, covers the quick link and the brass loop, and gives that little bit of play. There's a little bit of buffer there, so when you're playing the fish, it just helps a little bit of shock absorption. Line Saver bead is moved down into position, and this bit's quite important. You just want to make sure there's absolutely no way that the hook can come into touching distance of the silicone sleeve, and more importantly the lead. This rig can literally be cast anywhere as long as you think about what you're doing. If that was down a little bit further, there'd be a chance of the lead dinking the point over, or even hooking into the silicon. You'd have a rig sitting out there not doing what it's meant to do. So there you go, that's all the gap you need. The boilie can touch it, that's fine, but there's absolutely no way the hook can come into contact. Work your way back up. The lake we're fishing today, the bottom's fairly uniform, pretty clayey, so I don't need there to be too much distance between. I'm happy that where the lead lands, the rig can be more or less next to it. So I've got a gap set between the beads of about 10 inches. If your lake's got a bit of low-lying weed on the bottom and you're a little bit unsure what you're fishing over, or maybe there's a bit more silt, then you keep moving this bead back to a distance that you feel that sort of the lead can land and the rig can then come to settle on top of whatever's in its way. And that is the beauty of the chod rig. Finally, you've got the no trace bead that needs to be put into position. Now again, make sure you wet it first, because once it's wet underneath, it's then in a fishing situation, should the worst comes to the worst and you do get cut off, there's no danger, the fish can pull away and that will simply pop off. So all the carp is left with is just a very, very short rig, which they do get rid of very, very quickly. And there you go. All the components are there. Next time you're in your tackle shop, it comes on a bright orange sprue, so you can't miss it. But more importantly, when you've got it on the bank, if you drop it, you ain't going to lose it. Be lucky.
Many thanks for tuning into this episode of Tackle Fanatics TV. Tackle Fanatics stock a vast range of Korda tackle at the best prices around. We also stock an extensive selection of tackle from all the leading manufacturers. To view our range, log on to www.tacklefanatic.co.uk. Tight lines and wet nets from everybody at TFTV.